Here in the UK, summer is definitely behind us and winter not far away. I've done a fair few bits and pieces to the car these last few months, which makes me think it's time for an update. Plus, I'll reveal my favourite 3 tweaks of 2025. Welcome to Project 981 and welcome back to the channel. Now, I've done various tweaks and modifications to the car over the past year, pretty much all of which are available to view here on the channel. But in case you've missed any, and by way of an autumn update, here's where we're at with Project 981. Oh, and by the way, in case this is the first time you've encountered me and my Carmine red car, my name is Christian Pratt and this is my Porsche Boxster GTS. So let's start with the front of the car. It is a perfectly good place to start. So let's indeed focus on the headlights. One of the jobs I did to the car was to replace, slight upgrade, the supplementary full beam bulb, which is a halogen H7 from memory bulb, which comes on with the HID bulb 2 for full beam. It's also the bulb that comes on when you flash the headlights. So popped out both the headlight units, put a new H7 bulb in, put them back in, and then I took the opportunity to focus the dipped beam. So that's not only the sort of straight and level bit, but the actual dip as well, which had gone slightly out. So that put them back into focus, which has the effect of amplifying, as far as you can see, the effectiveness of the lights, the headlights. So both of those done, nice little improvement there as well. And sticking to the theme of lights, I also swapped out the original side repeater bulbs here, which have a filament bulb for an aftermarket LED side repeater, which is nice and sharp and I think looks a little bit more contemporary. Now on display here are my new front discs and pads. There they are. Did the front axle, so new OEM equivalent front pads and discs on both sides. The rears were fine, so I didn't bother with those. But what I did do on all 4 corners at the same time is have the addition of the braided brake line. So the last bit of the brake pipe is flexible. Took out the rubber ones, the OEM ones, put a braided metal hose in as well, and then put a stainless steel bleed nipple on the calipers, 2 on each, so 8 on the car. May yet change those again because there's possibly some galvanic corrosion issues with those, but front axle, new discs and pads, and then the braided hoses all around. I did also add some spacers, so 7mm on the front and 15mm on the rear. Really happy with those. Really happy with the way those have changed the look of the car. I think it just sharpens everything up a little bit and complements the right eye of the GTS with the PASM, the lowered PASM suspension. So nice little changes there, and yeah, braking performance is very much back to where it needs to be now. So sticking with the front of the car, one of my next jobs was to replace this hose, the hose which connects the screen wash jet nozzles to the screen wash reservoir. It can fail down to this point here, so I decided a nice quick and easy job, get a new one, connect it through, pull it through and replace it through. I also did just a bit of a tidy up on the trim down here just so it sits nicely. That's worked pretty well, and I actually popped the nozzles out. They got a little bit scaled up with hard water, descaled those, which definitely improved the spray pattern onto the windscreen. So nozzles and hose. And I also popped out and replaced these 2 struts, the gas struts which support the frunk. They were slightly lower on pressure, so it lifted a bit more slowly, and they started to squeak, to creak, which no amount of grease or spray had any impact on. So I thought, well, they're relatively cheap and very easy to replace. 2 new ones of those, and everything is now very nice indeed. Then it was on to a bit of maintenance, and I did the air filters myself for the first time. 4 on this car, 4 on all 981's. There's a pre-air filter for the cabin under here. There's a second air filter in the cabin, which is underneath the passenger's footwell. And then there's 2 air intake filters for the engine, and those require you getting into the boot, the back of the car, taking the carpet out, taking the and getting access to the firewall, and then there's 2 holders which you need to pop out as well. Quite fun and quite easy to do. What I would say is, and you'll spot the lesson I learned here, is when you order these, make sure you order the right parts, because that looks, yeah, it kind of looks the right size, but there's a lot of different filters for a lot of different cars, all slightly different shapes, but the part number should be on the one that comes out. And check the airflow direction too. It's all straightforward stuff, but just if you're going to do the job, just do it accurately, as I eventually ended up doing. So moving to the interior, and one of my favourite jobs of the year was to replace the rear view mirror, which those of you familiar with the 981, comes in this shape and is, I think, much improved by replacing it with the equivalent from the 718, so the 982, if you will, 981 Gen 2, which has a slightly square and more rectangular shape, which doesn't complement the aperture behind the seats quite as well, but gives much better visibility to my mind. So that was a nice, quick, fun little change. I managed to get one of those on eBay, which was quite good news. So that's come off and that's gone on. And I also then identified a problem with the light in the glove box, which I then diagnosed aspirationally to the micro switch, which operates when you open the door, open the lid. And so I took the whole thing out, found the micro switch, replaced it with a OEM replacement part, put it back together again, and lo and behold, it works. So quite a satisfying job, and that's been rock solid since. So these things can be done. They are possible to do at home with the right tools and a bit of time. So two very pleasing jobs, one modification and slight improvement, and one sort of wear and tear repair, if you will. Now, one of the jobs I definitely didn't do myself this year was to add cruise control, OEM cruise control to the car. My car didn't have it when it came from new. The original owner didn't order it, and to add it requires some hardware and some coding. The hardware is take this shroud off, and there's a whole this stalk body comes as a complete unit, and you need to add this stalk here, so that goes in, and then you need to code enable it with a proper code from Porsche and PWIS, and it all goes in, and then behold, it works. And I like a bit of cruise control, so that's very satisfying. And to the theme of code enabling, I've also been busy. If you've seen my latest videos, you'll know this, with the Think Diag dongle, plugging it in, checking the condition of my car health report, looking for error codes, of which there is one, the well-known Porsche active drivetrain mount code error, and a few other bits and pieces which I've been tinkering with, changing some settings and the like. The power steering map is perhaps the sort of most prominent, but also the rain sensor, and simple things like changing the number of times the lights flash on the one touch indicator. So very satisfying to do and quite quick and easy. And I have dipped in once or twice to the Porsche accessories pot, if you will, this year. I got myself some frunk and boot liners. Here's the frunk liner. It's a liner that goes in the front of the car, and you'll know how those work. Pretty straightforward, but nicely made and does the job. And then obviously around the back as well. Just showing you the rear liner. Here's all my stuff for making videos on YouTube. It's not terribly glamorous, but then the rear liner, lower profile, but nicely made too. Oh, and I also replaced this trim piece, not really necessary, but satisfying to know it's now back in place, and correct number of clips evident too. Marvellous. So there we go, you're pretty much up to date with everything I've been up to on the car on Project 981 this year. Okay, so what about those top 3 tweaks? Well, I'm going to start with an honourable mention for the gas struts that hold up the front bonnet, the front lid. Quick and easy to replace, and just very satisfying to do, and no more creaking as well. But the top 3 things for me for this year, I'm going to start with a really small coding change that I did using the Think Diag dongle. That is to disable the Eco Shift indicator, the little triangle that tells you to change up a gear in the manual. It's really annoying. It comes in way too early because of emission regulations. It's gone. Very happy with that. The second thing is the 718 rear view mirror. You put it in, it works, and it's just way better than the original, and after a while you forget that it's even there. But my number 1 tweak for this year, and you may not agree with this, but for me it's the thing that's changed the car the most, is adding cruise control. When I'm on the motorway, on a dual carriageway, transiting from A to B, the ability to just set the cruise control and chill out, for me, makes a huge difference to the car, and I'm really satisfied with the fact that's gone in. It works, it's seamless, it's all enabled. Smashing. What a lovely upgrade. So there we go, folks. No real biggies this year, but plenty of continual improvement, which, if you've watched my more recent videos, you'll know is my ethos for Project 981. Now, just time to say, work continues behind the scenes on this. This is a replacement sensor for the drivetrain mounts. More on that in due course. And also just time to say thank you if you've subscribed to the channel already. I'm nudging up to 5,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And I'm loving all of the enthusiasm and comments and a sense of community which is building around the video. So thank you for taking part in that too. Okay, that's your autumn update all done. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.